And even when you're reading it before you know that the universe is crossed, you are just like, is this girl obsessed with Fae? Like, why are there so many Fae? Like,
And mates, stop
and
saying
mates?
that word.
Yeah, I've never heard that word so many times before, and now it's everywhere. Yeah, you are kind of like, she wrote the same thing, but not. So it makes sense that they're connected.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? My name's Tanya. This is the Fangirl Feels podcast where we give you an emotional analysis of all the books, TV shows, and movies. And today I'm here with my co host.
Olivia. That's my
Woo!
name. Don't wear it out.
Don't wear it out, everyone.
Don't wear it out. So early 2000s.
Yes, it's making a comeback.
It is. It is. The kids love the early 2000s now.
I know. But I was actually thinking that they shouldn't do 2010 to 2015 because it was very just like, I use this term. I posted a picture. There's a trend going around on Instagram of like posting your self from when you were 21. Well, for us, that would have been between 2010, 2015. And all the styles, all my clothes just look like corporate clubbing, like going to the club in a peplum shirt.
Corporate clubbing. That's so fun. It's true. That's so true, though. Yeah.
The pea coats,
Yeah.
the skinny jeans. Yes.
The peacoats were such a thing. I don't even know where they went. I got rid of them all, but like, why did we wear those? They were everywhere.
To the club to put on the floor. I don't know.
Truly, like, what was the purpose of them? Yeah, the skinny jeans, the like, I wore these like really tight mini skirts with like tights underneath. Do you remember those?
That was an era too. Why did
Yeah.
yeah. And with like but like maybe the top or like your bra was colorful to like
Yes.
show out.
Yeah. Good times. Wow. What a time to be alive. Here, 2010 to 2015.
Don't bring it back. Don't bring until we're dead, okay? Give it like 100 years. Less than that, but
I saw someone say that like Tumblr core is coming back, which is kind of like this era. Like that's Tumblr era, but Tumblr core is more like the dark eyeliner and I don't know, just like emo core to some extent, like emo vibes. I'm like, well, I mean, I loved that era, but like, do we need to bring it back? Probably not. Like,
we all have trauma from that era and the scene kids were made fun of. But
yeah,
yeah, that's so interesting. You know what? It's because it's moving towards 2006 to 2007 to 2010s,
yes,
the beginning of social media. We don't need to. Who's saying
yeah.
that this should happen?
I don't know. It's just like history repeats itself. Fashion is cyclical. And so we're like, yeah, headed there. And I'm like, what if we just like tried something new? What if we did
Right.
that?
Because so like when you think about the decades in the 1900s, they weren't there was an era for like the 70s and they weren't replicating it from the past. I'm just wondering, like, I wonder if it's fast fashion. They can't think of things, they don't have enough time to think of things. They just have to pump stuff out. And I think, do you think so? Maybe that I've never read into this, but like I wonder if that's why we aren't creating unique fashion trends today.
I don't know. It's a good point. I think fast fashion is totally a part of it. But then I actually never thought about that. You're right. Like I feel like every generation was like unique for a while, and then now we're kind of repeating. I feel like starting in the 90s, it kind of started to repeat a little bit. Because the 90s were like replicating the 80s or the 70s to some extent. And then the early 2000s, I don't know. I'm not a fashion expert, but I definitely think that like TikTok is part of it. That like everything is now disseminated and there's so many micro trends.
Yeah.
Along with fast fashion. Yeah. I think it just like brings everything back all at once.
There's more seasons now because of that, because of how quickly TikTok moves through those trends, which is wild.
Yeah. I've been seeing these videos that like clean girl is out, mob wife is in. I was like, and then I saw videos that are like, what are we doing? Mob wife? What does that even mean? What are we doing?
I did start watching The Sopranos. Could I have been influenced by that subconsciously? I don't know. I've been meaning to watch it, but it's just funny to now place it with the reference.
Are you the mob wife aesthetic?
Yeah.
With like the big fur coats. I don't even know. I'm like, What are we
Yeah.
doing?
I love it, but yeah, it shouldn't be it should only be a joke. Leave it at the memes and the trends. Don't
Yeah.
take it off TikTok.
If I see someone walking around with this like giant fur coat, I would be like, what's happening? Are you okay? Like, I don't understand.
Oh, it's Halloween.
Yeah, right. I would think something's wrong, or like they're going to like a costume party. I don't know. I guess it
Yeah.
depends on the coat. Who knows?
Right. Well, if they're a mob wife, it's tricky. Yeah.
Then I'll get out of their way.
Get out of the way. I think that's it. Yeah. We'll just be like,
Yeah.
oof, good thing. Yeah. I didn't say
I want
anything.
no trouble. I don't want any trouble. I'm leaving. Go ahead, ma'am.
Great coat.
Great coat. Where did you get it from? Love it. Stunning. Just cave real quick.
Right. Step that back real
Yeah.
fast.
I really want no trouble with the mob. I really don't.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
It's funny.
Well, I feel like that was just us catching up. That's what most of our calls are like when we're not recording, and then we're just like, oh, we should just record to get that on video. So, yeah, give us your takes on fashion. But today's episode is really interesting, really fun. A lot of the romantasy girlies, ACOTAR girlies are super hyped up this week because Sarah J. Maas's book, House of Flame and Shadow, dropped on January 30th. And so I don't know if anyone's finished it. I got it. I had like credits on like Kindle Unlimited and then Audible. So I ended up getting the books. I didn't get it on Libby, even though I like had put it on hold for months. I didn't get it. Typically, when these popular books drop, Olivia and I will put them on hold on Libby because you can, when it releases, you might be able to get it. And with Iron Flame, we both got it on Libby. And then when this book dropped, I'm like number 300 something now. So I probably won't see it for weeks. But did you look at your Libby?
Wild. I didn't put a hold on. I put a hold on the second one because I haven't read these yet. But I'm not surprised that Sarah J. Maas is like huge. She owns the romantasy genre, so that's not surprising to me. I guess that it would take that long. It's crazy.
As you said, I forgot you haven't read the books. Of course you did.
I mean, I did say on this podcast that I would try to catch up by this time, and I'm a liar. I am a liar, and I did not because I am a mood reader and was just not in the mood to read it. But I have made myself aware. I'm culturally aware of this, so
Okay.
I can still be involved.
Which is a good point for me to tell everyone that if you haven't read Crescent City or ACOTAR, don't listen to this podcast. We're going to be telling you things in 3 seconds that will be a big spoiler. So leave, goodbye. See you later.
Goodbye.
Check out our next episode.
Yes, unless you're like me and you like spoilers. Maybe. Yeah. But otherwise, bye.
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 So the spoil that Olivia knows because Olivia's on all the book talks, TikToks, etc., is that this book will be a crossover. Like it is proof that all of her universes collide and they can access them. And so in this book, the last book of Crescent City ended with Bryce running into the gang from ACOTAR. So she wakes up and sees Amarin, Farah, and then Rasan, and I think the other Bat Boys are there. So that's all that we knew about this book heading into it. And I think if you got that spoiled, that's what probably you've heard about. Is that correct? That's probably what you heard.
I didn't hear. I thought she ran into Azrael. I don't know. I didn't know that it was every character, but like, doesn't make a difference. Like, yeah, the ACOTAR people. Are there Throne of Glass people that have been mentioned, or no?
I will bring something up later in this podcast.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
Wait. Because I know that in Throne of Glass, I think it was in the last book, in Kingdom of Ash, there is like there's this moment. I don't remember Kingdom of Ash enough. Spoilers for Throne of Glass, if you have it. I feel like this is just fair to say spoilers for the Sarah J. Maas universe, right? Any of her 3 books, her 3 series. So spoilers. If you don't want them, please leave. In Throne of Glass, in Kingdom of Ash, which is the last book in the Throne of Glass series, I remember there's a moment when Aelin is, I don't remember exactly what's going on, but like Aelin is seeing these different worlds, and I'm pretty sure she sees Rysand at one point. So you're saying that, like, is that mentioned at all in Crescent City, or is that like
So that's not mentioned in Crescent City.
okay?
So I guess I'll say that so far, what we know, I haven't read the newest book yet. There it hasn't been mention of Throne of Glass in the Crescent City books, but because of that scene and last scene of the latest Crescent City book, before this one, was that at least Akatar and Crescent City are able to connect, and so that we can imply that from that book, Throne of Glass will also be a part of this. So
Because she can see Rysand. Okay, that
Mhm.
makes sense. Wow.
Wow.
The SJMCU. Look at this. The SJMCU.
SGMCU sticker.
Honestly, that'd be a good sticker.
I would get it. That's cute.
The
But make it look
SJMCU.
like Marvel.
But just say that's actually so good. TBD.
Yeah, because like if they're looking at it, someone quickly is like, "Oh, you love Marvel," which we do, but also it's like, "Oh, SG, what is that?" Yeah.
What is
Um,
SJMCU?
don't get sued, but
No,
yes.
I'll try not to.
Anyways, so yes, the House of Flaming Shadow dropped. SJM, Sarah J. Maas, has been doing a big PR campaign, feeding us with the social posts. She hasn't been really active. We've been wondering where she is, wondering where the TV show is for Akatar. And so I went on TikTok to kind of see like what people have been saying. And so Dana_Reed said had went to the midnight release party in New York City. Sarah J. Maas came. It was at Barnes and Nobles in Union Square. And me and Olivia on multiple episodes have talked about how we love midnight release parties and we miss it from our childhood. And so when Sarah J. Maas was on the stage, she was like, when I was growing up, going to midnight release parties wasn't cool. We were nerdy. Yes, I think so with us too. It was more so maybe, at least with me and my friends, like we went. But yeah, I don't think the popular kids were going.
No.
How about you? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think popular kids went, but like, yeah, I went with my friends. I went to the Harry Potter ones. I went to the Twilight one. Like, yeah. This felt like the biggest midnight release for a book in a very long time. Like from what I saw, it felt like those old days. Yeah. I was like, wow. And that's why I'm kind of sad I just haven't read the books yet. But did you go to the midnight release? I thought you said you would go.
I forgot about it. No, I mean, sorry, this month was busy. I was gonna go and like record. It would be so cool to like record people's reactions and like just give little interviews. So and spoilers for potentially us also, Elaine's book. Whenever that drops, we should do
That I
that.
can actually,
We should meet up. Yeah.
that one is, I feel like we feel very qualified to do. Yeah, that's fair. But that's okay. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's been a busy month. This month has been 45 years. This month.
Why has it been so? I'm being serious. It's so weird. It's like it's still January.
Yeah, I actually can't believe it either. I was like, I thought today was the first day of February. And I'm like, what? It's still January.
Whoa.
Did January get an extra day when February quite literally has an extra day this year?
Yeah.
But, like,
Which we should all get off. Come on. It's a freebie.
absolutely.
Anyways, at the release party, they handed out magnets and bookmarks. And I've been loving all of her outfits. Have you seen? She just looks very like Parisian chic.
She looks great. Yeah, her outfit was super cute. She looks lovely. I don't know how old I think she's in her like late 30s. Like she's young and she looks it. Like she looks stunning.
Yeah. She could be an actress. Like she could be a character. And I hope she is if and when that show or movie happens. She should be in it.
I don't understand. I don't understand how we don't have an Akatar adaptation yet. With how big it is, how do we not have news? Like how I really don't understand. It is talk about money grabs. That's the easiest one.
Right. But I wonder if for that, because she knows she has leverage, I wonder if she is the one who like backed out of certain situations and like is finding the right director. And maybe it's like she wants a right director and they're busy at the moment, so she's waiting till they're free. I do wonder if it's something like that. Because also like the actors and writers strike, a lot of things have been postponed. And like a lot of those people are now working again, so their schedules are like pushed forward. And I just wonder, like, she obviously isn't going to tell people about that until it's finalized. So I have to assume if she's like out in the public and everything, things might be happening back in behind the scenes.
I hope so. That's a really good point, and I respect her for it if that's true. I mean, it speaks to her as well. Like she wants a good adaptation for sure. So I hope so. We'll see.
And because people will be so upset if it's bad.
Oh,
So upset.
this is a very vocal demographic of like, this is adult women. Oh, they will be angry. We will all, me included, we will all turn into Karens.
Immediately.
Yes,
Yes.
it's true.
We got back into reading because of this. Like,
Yeah.
it has to be good.
It has to be good. Yeah, it's true. It's true. There's a lot of pressure on it. For
So
sure.
maybe that's it too. People are like, I don't know if I can do it. M.
Yeah.
Night Shyamalan's like, I can do it. And everyone's like, no.
I will name Rasan Rysand.
It's Dave Patel again.
Dave Patel. Honestly, if Dave Patel was in it, amazing. But just don't
I was gonna
change.
say not a bad thing, actually.
No, not a bad thing at all. But he might not be a good Rasan, but give him a role, I don't mind.
He could be what is the one? Asriel. Like, I think he'd make a good Asriel, actually. Did we say it first?
That's actually an amazing idea. It's actually an incredible. I'm not mad about that at all.
He would just have to buff up a little bit, which would just make him hotter.
That would make him. He's a good-looking boy. Like, he's got a nice face. Like, no issues.
No issues.
No issues.
I can't think of any.
Like, I got no issues. Nothing wrong. I would not be mad about that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you heard it here.
You heard it here first.
Dev Patel is Asriel. And Asriel is everyone's favorite, if we're honest.
He's like a softy boy, emotional. I feel like it fits with him. It fits with Dave Patel's written by a woman. It fits with that type of man. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. We solved all the problems of the ACOTAR series. Done. I think end of podcast.
We fixed it. We solved the issue.
Whew. And he'd be brown. Like, it'd be fitting.
Yeah.
So
if they're supposed to be brown, the two characters, even though you would never know that from artwork, but
people glossed over that real quick. From the book.
It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm guilty of it too. I admit, like, it's fine. It happens.
Yeah. I also think, like, we've talked about this before, she didn't put a lot of emphasis on it either. So it's like, it was easy to miss. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, that'd be very cool. But anyways, so we're doing a new series that is very similar to things we've done before, where we explain the backstory, the history of the things we talk about, and we are going to give the name Fandom Flashback. We love alliteration, and essentially we're doing exactly that, talking about the history of the content that we're so obsessed with. So today we're going to talk to you about how Sarah J. Maas wrote Crescent City, how she got inspired for it, and a part of this journey is a part of her ACOTAR process as well. But people are so excited for this new book because it's been a year and a half, 2 years since her last book within the Crescent City series called House of Sky and Breath. So everyone is amped up because we're just craving this content quickly, especially with like books like Fourth Wing, like dropping like, hotcakes. Is that the right word? I don't know, idioms. Dropping like flies?
I don't know what hotcakes are, but
pancakes.
Pancakes.
You know what? When we use idioms, just assume it's wrong. It's not like right.
Children of immigrant problems. We just heard it off of other people saying it. I have no idea what it means.
We never asked the context. We don't even know what it's about.
No. Nope. Not at all.
Anyways, so today we are talking about Crescent City, as I mentioned. In a quick overview of Crescent City, in the Crescent City series, half fae and half human Bryce Quinlan seeks revenge for her friend's murders in a contemporary fantasy world of magic, danger, and searing romance. Sarah J. Maas started writing the Throne of Glass series, which was then a trilogy called Queen of Glass, when she was only 16 on a website called fictionpress.com. Did you know that?
I did know that she wrote this series at 16. I know it was her, like she wrote it young. I've never heard of Fiction Press, though. I was not on the internet at that time, or was not aware. So that's news.
Yeah, she a little bit showing her age at that point. Yeah, we were younger at that time. We'll have to check it out. But over the 6 years it took her to write the trilogy, Queen of Glass became one of the most popular stories on the site. And in fall 2008, she took the story offline to try and publish it through traditional means. By the way, I got all of this from crescentcityfandom.com. Excellent site.
The house of all things Crescent City. I love this idea of publishing your book. I don't know if people do this now, but publishing your book online first and getting that kind of feedback. Like if people are really liking your story, then you kind of know you have a winner and you can, yeah, take it off and go publish it. I like that idea.
It's just product validation. It's
Yeah.
very smart to be doing that. I heard people sometimes do things like that with like Twitter and like social posts where like if it gets engagement, you're like, oh, this could be a thing. It's actually quite smart, and it's like in a
Yeah.
subtle way that they're doing it.
Yeah, it is smart. Good for her. She probably didn't mean that at all. She's just 16 years old or whatever. But like, yeah, if you're like, wow, people like this, let's go publish it.
Marketing genius.
Mark Sarah J. Maas.
Businesswoman, 16 years old, Sarah J. Maas.
To be honest, maybe like good for her.
Well, depending on who her parents were or her family, you know what I mean. They could have taught her that.
It's true.
Very much could be a reality for her. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So, anyways, she had the idea for A Court of Thorns and Roses in the spring of 2009. So they decided, her and her literary agent, not to send out Throne of Glass to publishers. So they instead began to write her first books, 2 books within the ACOTAR series. And she revealed this was a story where, within a matter of days, I heard Farah's voice and I saw so many scenes play out in my head. And I feel like we've heard this story before with other writers, like obviously like J.K. Rowling, literally Stephanie Meyers with Twilight, like just at first hearing a story or like getting inspired and seeing it, visualizing it first.
Yeah, that they like can see the character so well. I love that, the idea that it becomes very like real to them. I'm really fascinated by this fact that like while she was not even publishing Throne of Glass yet, she had the idea for ACOTAR. I thought that those series were not. I thought she was well into Throne of Glass before she started ACOTAR. So the fact that they were kind of in tandem to some extent, it's really interesting to me.
I didn't know that either. Yeah, that is so interesting, right? And then you can see all the inspirations that were like while she's writing one book, she's literally writing the other. There's, of course, the universes cross.
Yeah. And even when you're reading it before you know that the universes cross, you are just like, is this girl obsessed with Fae? Like, why are there so many Fae? Like,
and mates? Stop
and
saying
mates?
that word.
Yeah, I've never heard that word so many times before. And now it's everywhere. Yeah, you are kind of like, she wrote the same thing, but not. So it makes sense that they're connected.
I like what you just said. She wrote the same thing, but not. Exactly. Pretty much.
It in the best way possible.
Yeah. Observations. Yeah. We're not dogging on her at all.
No.
So these next few facts I found really interesting, and I think a lot of our listeners will too. I know, Olivia, you'll relate to this. So she got the idea for the series ACOTAR after listening to the song "The Demon God" from Princess Mononoke soundtrack. I've watched the movie, I just don't know how to pronounce it. Apologies, everyone. Sarah also sought inspiration in the fairy tale "The Beauty and the Beast," in the Norwegian tale "East of the Sun, West of the Moon," and in the legend Tam Lin. Who is...
I see what she did there.
She pulled it directly.
Look, we're Sherlock Holmes over here.
1 + 1 = 2, I think.
I think so. That's what they say. That's so funny.
That is so good. I'm gonna look that up now. I've never heard of that in my life.
I've never heard of the legend of Tam Lin either, but there you go. I'm gonna look it up too.
Sarah J. Maas declared it actually wound up going away from those things, those inspirations. It started off as a retelling of the more original fairy tales, which we could see from the first book, but then moved away, like Throne of Glass has done, which is interesting. Yeah, we totally saw that. When you read ACOTAR, you notice the first book is wildly different than the other ones.
Yes. I think I mentioned this on a previous podcast. My sister read the first book of ACOTAR and was like, I'm good for now. I'm like, if there's ever a series in which you do not stop at the first one, it is ACOTAR. So I'm like, I tell her, I'm like, you don't know the books. You don't know the series. You cannot have any opinion on the series, having read just the first one. It's weird. She's like my yin and yang. Like, we're so similar in some ways, but then when it comes to this, I'm just like, what? You just stopped? And you're like, I'm good? What? I don't understand. I can't do that. Very strange.
Very bizarre.
Yeah,
I have so many questions for her.
I do too. But it's just of all the series to do it, this one to this point, like it moving away. Yeah, it did. It moved away from, from
In a
what it
great
was.
way. We look favorite book. Yeah, number 2.
Yeah, it is. I like the second book a lot more. So that's what's so funny. It's just really strange. Very strange.
Interesting. No shame. No shame. It's fine. Do what you need to do. But we are judging you.
Kind of. I mean, I know people who hated the second book. I know
Oh,
people who hated it.
really?
Yeah,
What?
who thought the second book was horrible and loved the first one. So, I mean, people are different, man.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Yeah, couldn't be me, but
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be us.
couldn't be us.
Look at us. Anyways, okay. So in terms of Crescent City, Sarah was on a plane during the Air of Fire book tour back in 2014, back when I graduated college, when she got the idea for Crescent City. She was listening to Shen Zhu, written by the British film composer Stephen Price for the movie Gravity, when she saw a scene play out in her head. She said, "What I was seeing hit me so strongly. I was so overwhelmed that I began sobbing on the plane." Can relate. I listened to this piece of music over and over again on this 2-hour flight because I was having such a strong reaction to these new characters. And I heard that and I was like, Sarah J. Maas, just like us, I too imagine movie scenes. I still do. I imagine movie scenes or myself in a scene, like as if I'm watching a movie based on what this music is making me feel like.
Absolutely. I do the same. I used to think that was a me thing, you know, and then like when you see things on the internet where other people talk about that and you're like, wow, I've never had an original experience in my life. We're all the same.
The simulation's too strong.
Yes, we're all the same. But that's kind of nice. I do that all the time where I just like imagine, yeah, characters in like scenes or yeah, myself. So wow. Who knew you could write a book from that? Good for you, Sarah J. Maas.
I know. It is inspiring, you know, that like our process is potentially similar. It stems from an original, the similar place. So
It's like it makes it accessible. I think every time we've done these deep dives, like with like J.K. Rowling or I don't know, whatever deep dives we've done, you're just like, wow, yeah, it does feel attainable, an attainable process. They're not so different. They're not these like magical people that like pull from the air.
yeah, just these white women writers who
That's all. That's all they are.
that's all you need to be first.
First and foremost, which both of us have failed in that front. Although I am white passing, but, but both of us have failed already.
Not during the summer, right?
No. Well, I'm very pale, especially in this lighting. I'm very pale, but once people find out, man, it's over for me. The contemporary fantasy world, which I can see where she got that inspiration from listening to like Gravity. I don't know, that feels very contemporary to me, listening to that film or music from that film. The reason why I haven't read it is really just out of laziness, to be honest. And contemporary fantasy is not something that speaks to me openly. Like I've sent, you guys obviously are not on our Slack channels, but I send like Tanya TikTok sometimes where I'm seeing videos of Crescent City and it'll be like the otter giving Cassian DoorDash. And I'm like, what is this? Like, what is this? What is this show? Or what is this book? Like, I don't understand. Why is an otter giving them food? I don't understand.
It's so silly. It's so silly.
I'm like so confused. But I will read it. I will read it. I want to be involved in the Sarah J. Maas verse, but we'll see when that happens. Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
It'll happen. But that's a good transition into trending fandom takes because, like, even though I have not read the series, I am very involved in the bookish world on the TikTok. So I have seen it. I've seen the hype. I know what's going on. So, like we did in our Avatar: The Last Airbender episode, we want to take a deep dive into the buzz. We break down. Tanya came up with this cool little like sentence here. We break down the buzz of the internet's watering hole. Wow, amazing! I love it. So, okay, so what are people excited about, Tanya, in Crescent City? What's the chitter chatter?
What's the chit chat? Oh
The
my
chitter
gosh.
the chit chat.
The chitter chatter. So yes, thank you. Like Olivia mentioned, we're starting this new series called Trending Takes, where we analyze what everyone's saying on social media, so that you don't have to. We watch so many like TikToks, and we watch so many videos, and we're just gonna like take all that and create like, as we do in research, patterns and themes from that information. And so today, I mostly just watched TikToks because they're short. That Reddit, if you go to the subreddits, they're way more detailed, and I just didn't have time for that, quite frankly. So today were just TikToks that I watched. Were like 30 to 60 seconds. um, but what people are excited about, we broke this information into like different themes of excited about, analyzing, and worried. So what are they excited about? So the book dropped in Walmart. She had a special deal where a special book edition that includes exclusive bonus scenes featuring Bryce, Nesta, and Azriel as they discover more about each other's worlds. And that's interesting. And if you bought a book from Walmart, I don't blame you as a consumer, but I do think it's terrible that she had a deal with Walmart when she has so much weight and power to have a deal with other book sellers, publishers, etc., because Walmart does not pay their employees an ethical wage, a livable wage. And so I would never do that if I had that much money and power. So I just think that's abhorrent personally.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not like Target or Barnes and Noble. I'm surprised by this. I did not hear about this actually, that there's a Walmart exclusive. Walmart, I agree with everything you said. I also am just like, Walmart's not on brand. Is that your demographic?
Isn't that a little odd?
Like, I don't like Walmart doesn't have a good like brand recognition. That's why I'm like Target. Target's like the equivalent model, but like better vibe. You know, I can't think of the word, so I'm surprised by this. Or yeah, or just Barnes and Noble. I'm confused. Strange.
I'm very curious about her reasoning there, why she signed off on that. There's a part
Yeah,
of me that wants to believe like she wants to make it more accessible because I think there are more Walmarts than there are like Targets or those other stores, but still,
that's fair.
just
That's
the
fair.
store in general, like I don't know. And it's not that we're like, you know, comparing ethics, like there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, sure, but that company in particular is known for just being terrible to their employees specifically. So I'd like to know.
Yeah.
Please explain. Please, Sarah J. Maas, explain yourself.
Yeah. To be honest, it's probably just money. You know, they got the money to and they paid a lot. I would imagine that's probably it.
Yeah.
But interesting. And that will be on the internet soon, I'm sure. The exclusive
Oh,
bonus
for
scene.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so just wait. It's probably already on the internet.
Literally, the first person probably took a picture. Now it's on Reddit.
Exactly. Oh, I have no doubt in a 2-second Google we could find it. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah.
By the time this episode drops, I bet you everyone has already read those extra scenes. So whatever.
Honestly, I might. I haven't read Crescent City, but I'll go read that.
You should
I
tell
should.
us.
Yeah, I will. Well, TBD.
All right, so for the next section, what people are analyzing. So Sarah J. Maas on November 30th, 2023, posted a selfie with the first edition, the first book of House of Flame and Shadows. And I looked at a couple TikToks that talked about what that post meant because it was like a Taylor Swift photo drop where people analyzed everything within that photo. And she did drop hints. It was very obvious. The things on her hands and her shirt meant different things. So her name's Abigail of Starlight Books, said that her Bambi shirt was about referenced Elaine, because Elaine has been called a fawn in the ACOTAR series. And so you would have to think that maybe this book has a crossover with Elaine, or we get more details about Elaine, or Elaine's book is next.
Interesting. Okay, so this is this picture that you sent me. I'm looking at it now on Instagram. Okay. Wow, this is like Taylor Swift level analyzing. Wow. Way to go. She's
Blonde,
taking notes.
blonde, rich women. That's all they're doing.
The blondies. This is
The
what they do. They leave
blondies.
the blondies. They leave these hints. I mean, she even has a black heart and a snake. So like reputation. Is she working with
She's
Taylor Swift?
working with Taylor Swift. We said it first.
Probably. Honestly, they're friends. They're not friends. But okay, interesting. I think everyone knows that the Elaine book is next. It has to be at this
Yeah,
point.
has to be. And that's what I was thinking, that perhaps Elaine's story is mentioned in this book. Like almost like you have to read this to know. But that what happens in Elaine's book. So we'll see. Whenever I finish 29 hours of this book.
I got like 200 to catch up, so I feel you.
You're real behind. Yeah.
I am. I am indeed.
So speaking of her tattoos, or seemingly tattoos, I don't know if she drew those on. Those could easily be fake. User Emma Halbrook mentioned a couple things that they noticed, and a couple people in the comments noticed things as well. On her pinky, she has the three-faced goddess, which is reference to Manon. And the three-faced goddess is Hecate from Greek mythology. And Hecate is associated with entranceways and crossroads, which would imply that perhaps Manon will be helpful in providing a way for people to go from the different universes.
Whoa, this is Taylor Swift. That's wild. I mean, these look like real tattoos to me looking at this photo.
Or they
So,
could be that like temporary, you know what I mean? Temporary tats. So who knows?
maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I think I saw an interview recently where those tattoos were still there. So who knows? But I mean, I believe
Dedication.
it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I would too, to be honest.
Yeah, same. I believe this. I'm all in on this. I hope
Yeah.
so. This is
I'm
cool.
doubting none of this. I'm
No.
going to believe that all of this is true. I'm gonna be honest. So
Yeah, that's fine with me.
I haven't seen a TikTok that explains the triangle, but people say that it looks like an eye, and like there's a lot of mythologies of like eyes, what that represents in so many cultures. Could be like the evil eye, the looking eye of Sauron. There's so many. So we'll just see what that means. The snake, and this is almost this is a reference to the books that you won't get, but there's a Viper Queen in Crescent City, and perhaps a snake is in reference to her. And there's also a snake in the caption. And then there's 3 stars. People think that the three stars are Ramiel, which is the Night Court and Illyrian Sacred Mountain. It appears in the Night Court's insignia, and it is where the Illyrian blood rite takes place. So I couldn't think of anything else that could be. That's what other people thought it was as well. Specifically to the cover, user book_Marge said the cover is, I can't pronounce these names, Ariadne, who was the dragon that was saved in the latest book. I'm not going to give too much away. That gives nothing away to you. So, dragon that was saved in the last book.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. That's a lot to get from this one photo. But I'm here for it. I guess like as when this episode comes out, people will know if any of this is true. I do believe that the 3 stars, that would make sense. That's the Night Court. I would imagine she would have a tattoo of the Night Court, to some extent. Like if I wrote that and it was this big, like, yeah, I'd tattoo it on my hand.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
we're just like 3 weeks away from considering getting a Fangirl Feels tattoo. To be like, I could be convinced.
Yeah, you had the right argument. I would do it. Like,
Yeah. Olivia, I'm bored. Want me to drive over?
that's all you need. That's the right argument. You did it. But interesting. Okay, that's a lot of detail in one photo. Yeah.
I know it was very. You can tell though after seeing, because I didn't think about it at all. My brain just doesn't think that way. I'm just like nothing's happening. But you can tell after with that lens that like there's so much in this photo.
Yeah, it is, and I'm sure she knows that. Like she's probably aware that people are going to be analyzing it, and did it purposely. Good for her.
Good for her.
Yeah.
And then so there were some worries about how this book was going, what was going to happen in this book, based off the prologue and first chapter that dropped earlier than the book dropping. And so everyone had access to that from Sarah J. Maas's site. And people felt sad after reading it, but classic Sarah J. Maas, it's always a roller coaster. So I'm sure it was just like to get people talking. I haven't read it yet. And so people are just like wondering how this book will be, and also how the crossover will happen, like how that's just going to go. So I think those are like, in summary, all of the thoughts that people had online. Obviously, again, if you go on Reddit, it's a lot deeper, more complex discussions. I didn't go there. I honestly don't remember books in that much detail. And so I didn't go there yet. But yeah, all in all, I'm excited to read this book, and I'm excited for Elaine's book eventually too.
I'm excited. I really do want to read this. That's sad that people felt sad. Is it because it was sad? Were they sad because it was sad?
Yeah, for context, I didn't read it, but like they were saying like whatever happens is like
Sad.
has like a sad or maybe worried undertone of like we need to keep reading.
Yeah.
How someone said like I read it and I just needed to keep reading. I wish I had the next chapter now because I really want to know what happens.
Okay. I mean, she's doing that on purpose. Like, yeah. Like it could change in like the next chapter for all we know. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like psych.
Psych, everything's fine. And we're just gonna watch the Akhtar Night Court and Bryce and whoever else have dinner. That's the book.
The end.
The end. That's all. That's all there is. Yeah, I am excited. I am very impressed with Sarah J. Maas. Like, she's not above critique, absolutely, but like I'm very impressed with her. I think she has opened a world to like reading as an adult, and I think her characters are really interesting, even if you can't blame her at the end of the day, right? Like, good for her. Like, she's done something amazing. I'm in for the ride. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
The roller coaster. And a lot of times we both are very similar. I just get FOMO, and I know you do too. So it's like I will be a part of this because I don't want to miss out on the cultural references, okay?
Oh, that's 1000% me. 1000, yeah, agreed. I'm just like, I just want to know because I want to be cool with the kids. I don't not want to know. Yeah. I mean, that's literally why I read Akatar, if we're honest. I think it was because all the people I followed at the time were reading it, and I was like, I guess I'll read this. Sure. See? I did hear, so this interview that I did watch of Sarah J. Maas, like yesterday, she had this like interview with Today talking about the book, and she basically announced that Elaine's book, she didn't explicitly say Elaine's book, but she was basically like, the next book she's writing is an Akatar book. So I think that can be implied that's probably Elaine's book. I was just excited to hear that it is an Akatar book. So I'm like, oh wow, more Akatar. Like, I do want more Akatar. I will read every Akatar book except the novella. Not read that one. I will read it, but I just haven't.
I will not read it.
I will not read the novella. I just haven't been interested in reading it. So, and she said that she has like another Crescent City book planned. She said she has up to 4 books planned now. I don't know if she's starting a new series. So it's like her next book is another Akatar book. And then she has like a few more and then another Crescent City book. The others in between, who knows what they are? Maybe another Throne of Glass. I don't know. Depends, I guess, what happens in this book. But the girl's writing. She writing.
She is always writing at all times, I assume.
She's writing. Yeah. She said she has like the next 4 years of books planned. So like, it's a lot of writing.
If she would like to donate to randomly like 2 girls with the podcast, we would accept, I think. Would we? I think we would.
Our donation from Sarah J. Maas. Yeah, I would accept it.
I think we would. So shout out, call out, CTA.
Yeah. Just a donation, just for existing.
You guys are talking about this, and you're 2 children of immigrants. You need this. Thank you.
You need a donation. Yeah, I will just send her a link to like a PayPal.
Yeah, it's my Venmo.
My Venmo. just want to donate. That's fine. Good for her. We're happy for her. And I'm excited. I love that this was like mainstream. The fact that it was on Today, like, and she was being interviewed, I was like, wow, like this book has really become very popular. It used to be very niche, which I think it's still very niche, but the niche has gotten bigger. So,
yeah,
like she's done something here.
That is very cool. Yeah, to be on like those news channels. It says a lot about culture, and people need to pay attention, and HBO probably should take Akatar. If I'm going to be honest, I think they'd do it justice.
HBO should absolutely take Akatar. Why have they not? Or like, I know the Outlander people are doing it, and they're on Stars. Just switch over to HBO. I don't know.
Yeah, you have the money and the time and resources to do that.
it would be unbelievable how successful this could be. Like, it is literally, I'm like, to what we were just saying, it's like, there is so much to be made here. It is ripe for the picking. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Just a gold mine to be uncovered, essentially.
Yes, it is a gold mine. It really is. You will get, it would be like the next, this is not a good example, but I guess it's the best one. It would be the next Twilight. Like, I don't know. Like, it would be so big. So big.
Yeah. It's at that level for sure. And now they have, like, is it hindsight or foresight to know what it should be to avoid being as cheesy as Twilight, you know? Is that foresight?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. They have the foresight, like, to know how to not do it. And I don't think that this book is as I think Twilight, like, it was just kind of a book to some extent. I think the movies made it worse, but the books were kind of just like that. I don't think Avatar is that cheesy. The issue will be the wings for me, but I have full confidence we can do it. Full confidence we can figure it out.
Yeah. With HBO's technology, they make dragons. They got this. They got this.
Yeah, we could do this. We could absolutely do it. We're waiting.
Just hire everyone that worked on Game of Thrones. They're like, oh, we don't have a job now. Now you do again.
Now you do. Avatar.
There's so many books. So many books.
Yeah, it's the next Game of Thrones.
It literally
it could be.
People. Okay, in the year 2023, we saw the power of women with Barbie, Taylor Swift's world tour, and Beyonce's world tour. Women showed up, showed out physically, not like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of times people think like people aren't going to go to the theaters. We're going to go to the theaters if we can hang out and drink some wine and chit chat and gab and dress up. And this is the next thing.
It is the next thing. It's like, yeah, exactly. Correct. Like, women will show up for this, and they will show up in droves. Like, you do not understand. And women are the economy. Like, women are the money. They are the money. You get women, you get money. Like, we spend. So, like, what are we doing? Just do it right. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Do it right. But if you do it right, you will be swimming in cash.
Like, swimming in it. Literally, swimming. Yeah.
Like, truly.
McDuck, yeah.
Yes. Just like cannonball money. Yeah. Incredible.
Like, I'm jealous I didn't go into videography to be able to do that. Like, you guys did do it.
Yeah, it's wild. It's so wild it hasn't happened yet. It really is. So I would have expected this to be announced 10 years ago when the first book came out or something. I don't know. Wild.
Yeah. I can't wait for the drama to come out of like why it's taken time. I want to believe she's just like, it's my baby. I gotta just do it right.
I think so. And I respect her for it because she would be making bank. Not that she's already not making bank, but she'd be making more bank.
Way more. Yeah. That has to be it. I want to believe so.
Yeah. We'll see. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Fangirl Feels podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. We come in your feed every Monday to talk about what's new in fandom stuff, books, movies, shows, all the things that give us all the feelings. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, basically every social media platform. At Fangirl Feels Pod. We also have our individual accounts at Totally Tanya and at Viva, which is VVIVAA. Yeah, we'll be back next week with another episode. TBD what we're talking about. But until then, bye. Bye. Every time.